Pat Brannon.
Matt, how you doing? Thanks.
It is so good to be here at the Casa Loma, one of the last remaining historical ballrooms, and talking to the owner here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you guys visit us. We love to have people come in the door at any time.
Pat, what's it mean to you to own one of the last remaining historical ballrooms in St. Louis?
Well, it's gives you a lot of pride. It's kind of fulfilling my dream. When I turned 40, I worked with a lot of other companies, and I wanted to be my own boss and have my own company. And Casa Loma came up for sale, and there were about 10 people trying to buy it, and we all threw our name in a hat, and I got lucky. And it's been 32 years, and
long time.
We're celebrating 96 years for the Casa Loma, and I want to make it 4 more to 100. That's for sure.
Yeah, so that kind of gets us into how did you acquire it? And you've always wanted to get into this. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
No, I was always in sales. I graduated from college from University of Missouri St. Louis as a phys ed teacher and special ed, and we had to learn all kinds of sports to teach, and dance was one of them. And I always enjoyed dancing and going out to the different clubs and joining the Imperial Swing clubs, and would do that. And but then I took sales jobs and worked a little time in radio, and then worked for a construction company to buy it, and worked for them for actually 8 years. And it was time at age 40 to buy it, and I presented the offer to buy it, and I tripled the guy's business, so he didn't want to sell.
Wow.
So 2 weeks later, Casa Loma came up, and here we are.
Here we are. Over the years, the 32 years you've owned it, do you have any idea how many acts have come through the door?
Well, I tell everybody I got 52 Fridays and 52 Saturdays, and I got to sell them. So we try and do events Fridays, Saturdays, and specials on Sundays. We're so large that we can't really be open during the week for small crowds. We hold 850 people, and so it has to be a big event for a weekend.
This has not changed that much layout-wise since the 40s when this was rebuilt after the fire. Is that
Right.
correct? Yeah.
That's correct. We've kept everything going. We did have the opportunity to have the ballroom painted back in the late 90s. They did that movie in town, Game of Their Lives.
Oh, yeah.
And it was about the 1950 United States World Cup team that beat England, and majority of players were all from St. Louis. So they filmed a lot of the filming here in St. Louis, and they used the Casa Loma as the wedding site for the movie.
I see.
And they came in and give us a new paint job on the inside, and
Yeah.
it's been that way ever since. It's still the Art Deco look from 1940 after the fire. It's got the smooth lines and with the balcony and that. That's
Yeah, it's excellent. What was your favorite event in the many years you've been here?
probably one of our favorite events was the charity that we put on. I put it together just by happenstance with Harley Davidson and the local Harley Davidson dealers. We called it our Leather and Lace Biker Society Ball, and we ran it for 25 years.
Wow.
And we would do it each year for a charity, and we would have 850 bikers in here, all dressed in their leathers, and the gals in their leathers and lace, and money would go to small charities. We never picked large charities because the money we were raising was just kind of a drop in a hat to them, but for smaller charities, they really appreciated it. Actually, Elaine Viets, a local writer here in St. Louis, wrote a book about it.
Oh, really?
It was called Rub Out, Rich Urban Biker.
Okay.
And she actually came to one of our events, and we got her picture taken on a Harley, and she decided to write a fictitious story about it, as she did with a lot of stories here in St. Louis. And she called me up and said, "Pat, I want to write a book on your biker night, but I want to kill somebody." I said, "Okay, no problem." In the book.
Right. Fictitiously, got it.
So she was she was meticulous in everything about the book. And in fact, she called me up one Saturday night. We had an event about 10:30, and I had a call. And she said, Pat, if you go out the back door in the alley, go down the stairs, when you open the door, is the street light on the right or the left? I walked downstairs, looked, and it was on the right. And I said, the right. She goes, great, click.
Must have been a key point in the plot. We will have a link to that book. If
There we go.
it exists, and it's for sale. We'll try to link to that in the comments in the episode. This isn't the only book that was written about this. We've also found a historical book that features the Casa Loma.
Yes, a local author, Dave Losses, came to me, and we were able to put together a book with a lot of pictures and stories, and has a foreword by Johnny Rabbit. And it was a book of love. We found the daughter of Art Kaywell. Him and his buddy Nat Burian owned the ballroom from 1935 to 1967, and they brought so many of the big bands in, and there were pictures, and we were able to get those pictures from their archives.
Great pictures.
It really helped us with the book.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we'll also have a link to that book in our description. That's great. Casa Loma has always been known as a blue-collar ballroom, compared to some of the, and I think that's an interesting cultural aspect to this. It's never been super highbrow, right? It's always tried to keep it real and affordable for the people. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Definitely. I noticed when I came in and checked the ballroom out before we bought it, prices were right. I went to a lot of clubs, and a lot of clubs were popular, and they come and go all the time. And you're right, this has always been a working man's ballroom. You go back over the years, back it was 25, 50 cents to get in. Of course, they were getting 2,000 and 3,000 people at that price. Volume. But it all comes down to volume, and we've been trying to keep the prices down and make it affordable for a couple to go out and enjoy a band. I mean, you're getting live entertainment, so there is an admission cost, and then keep the drinks reasonable. And we're just trying to. I didn't want to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. Have you ever found, like, when you're clearing out an old storeroom or something, anything really cool here, like from old acts? Or Frank Sinatra was here. Ella Fitzgerald played here.
Oh, yes.
Lots of greats came through here.
All of them. Well, we've got our behind the stage. We've got all of our signatures of a lot of the bands that played here and the different ones. And
they're on the wall back here?
They're on the wall behind the stage.
Excellent. Wow.
So those are there.
Good. Okay, so today, if I come to the Casa Loma today, what can I expect as a modern attendee to a Casa Loma?
Right now, we're trying to come up with anything that'll put butts in the seats. I hope we can say that.
We've got the oldest ballroom in St. Louis, and they're looking for reasons to bring people in. So if you've got any ideas, Pat's your guy to talk to.
But we still do the big bands. We still do the rock and roll. We also do burlesque, vaudeville. We've gone into the boxing and wrestling. Has been real popular. It's something you can't have every weekend. It's a big variety here at Casa Loma. We post our calendar on our website, and the last couple of years have been tough when the city shut a lot of us down. We lost a lot of our bands.
That is the next question for you. COVID must have impacted this business. Tell us how you survived. What was it like?
Well, the city shut us down for 22 months, wouldn't let us open, and it was politics. It couldn't have been COVID, because 18 miles away in Jefferson County, they were all open. There was no COVID there. 20 miles away in St. Charles, there was no COVID. They were open. So it was politics. And they gave us rules and regulations over the course of the 22 months, and we tried to abide by them, and it was ridiculous. It
was hard times, especially for folks who really depended on gatherings of people who came. You guys made it, though. At this point, you've made it. I know it's a struggle to get acts. You've lost some of the bands who used to play here have gone out where they were able to perform, I guess.
Right. We had before they shut us down, we had 5 orchestras, from 12 to 22-piece orchestras. And these are guys, local guys, that were playing everywhere, and we're down to 3. Lost 2 of them. And it's sad for the music business and for St. Louis.
Yeah.
But the ones that are performing are still doing well, carry the charts from all the big bands. And I mean, and there's no other place in St. Louis you can come and hear a 12-piece orchestra playing Benny Goodman, Glenn Miller, Guy Lombardo, Sinatra-style music.
How would I find out what's playing here? Is there a website?
We have our website, casalomaballroom.com, and we have a calendar on there, and we list bands that are coming up.
Definitely want to check that out. Pat, last question for you. We're sitting here in the last remaining ballroom, the historical ballroom in St. Louis. Why do you think this one survived when 40 plus others, including the Arcadia, have not survived? Do you have a theory?
Yeah, I do. If you take a look at where they were all located, there were, grand ballrooms in a 10-mile radius, and that's what people did back in the 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s, and they were all packed, 2,000-3,000 people, 5 nights a week. But if you'll take a look at where they all were, they were in the central corridor when everything went out west, and they bulldozed places down, put skyscraper, big buildings, Wells Fargo, all the big AT&T, they just tore buildings down. And Casa Loma was just south of 44, which wasn't even there then, but south of Shoto. And we escaped it.
Almost protected, yeah.
We were protected. They didn't go that far south. All the big development went west from downtown St. Louis, and it left the south side and the north side alone. One big ballroom, Club Imperial. I used to go to it because I grew up north side. We were on West Florissant. That building is still there.
Is it?
Not being used as a ballroom. It's been shuttered for a long time. But we were kind of the 2 ballrooms on the outskirts, if you will.
Yeah.
And everything got mowed down going through.
So the building survived. That's
The building
interesting.
survived.
Well, Pat, thank you so much for your time.
Man, thank you.
How old is this stage?
Permanent riggings up. If you look at those, that's for. We had to put those in for the aerialists for the burlesque shows.
Oh, right on. These.
Actually, we had to extend the stage out. This is the original stage.
Oh, there it is.
Everyone performed on the wood part, and I had to build this out because the trapeze were hanging down on the other side. It was a long drop.
That was great. So much history on this corner here. We've got Casa Loma, and then you have Cinderella and Yaki's over there. But I can tell you the corner that I care most about right now is Earthbound Brewery, because there's a beer waiting for me on the bar.
That one was pretty good.